Now it's coming close to Christmas time, which means for me lots of eggnog, but also Christmas movies. So, as a sort of special treat, here is a collection of some of my favorite Christmas films that I've reviewed in the last year or so.
This holiday season, the naughtiest guy in town just might discover
He's a really sweet kid, isn't he?
Yeah, I guess so.
how to be nice.
Good night, Santa. Good night, Mrs. Santa's sister.
Billy Bob Thornton,
So do you like kids?
What do you think? I'm some kind of pervert or something?
I just mean because you're Santa Claus.
And I thought I would start off with one of my favorites, Bad Santa, which is a great tale of a sort of down on his luck, washed up Billy Bob Thornton playing this drunk criminal who every year, becomes a bad mouth drunk mall Santa who ends up ripping off the mall every year. And it's a bit of a black comedy. It's a misbehaving middle-aged man with hijinks, but it has a bit more heart to that. When he keeps we can't sort of shake this troubled sort of weird kid. He kind of forms a sort of bond and becomes a bit. It becomes more of a not a family film certainly, but it definitely shows that it has heart and it has a bit more to it than just curse language. So I definitely recommend Bad Santa not only as a Christmas film, but it's just a really good film in general.
Hey Valerie, what's crack-a-lackin', girl? Merry Christmas! Santa's here!
It's hard to believe you're my uncle. You're sort of like a weird homeless dude who just kind of wandered in here.
Sometimes a movie just hits you more than you thought it was going to be, and that was the case with Uncle Nick, which is on Netflix. It's sort of a Christmas-themed movie starring Brian Posehn, the sort of big guy, brown beard, in lots of stuff as like the fat nerd weirdo. He plays this sort of strange, lonely, drunken guy who goes over to his brother's house for the family Christmas and is gonna cause havoc because he's the crazy drunk uncle. And that's what I thought the movie was gonna be. It's gonna be an MA comedy, and that's that. But it had a lot more heart than I thought it was. It also had an interesting story mechanic where he's narrating a famous game of baseball, like a local legend, where it's 10-cent beer night and the sort of crowd slowly gets more out of control, which sort of mirrors the night that the family is having. And the film had a lot more heart than I thought it was going to be. The characters were like quite interesting and had a really good sort of dysfunctional family dynamic, and the events that happened on the night. And the acting was superb, and just all around I was surprised. I'm like, this is one of the better films I've seen in the last few months, and I've seen quite a few films. So I'd definitely check out Uncle Nick. Not only feel like a different kind of Christmas film, but just a really good character drama, a really good indie, shows what you can do on a budget, and just a fun film. So Uncle Nick, check it out.
Saint Nicholas is not coming this year. Instead, a much darker, ancient spirit.
Those are hooves. Elk or a goat?
What kind of goat walks on its hind legs?
His name is Krampus. He and his helpers did not come to give, but to take.
Krampus is a Christmas-themed holiday movie about a young boy and his family having to have dinner with the sort of mean relatives no one likes, and he sort of loses the spirit of Christmas and stops believing in Santa, which awakens the evil spirit of Krampus. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. Which sort of punishes those who lose faith in the miracle of Christmas. The idea of the sacrifice of giving is one of the things that they say. And it is a pretty cool film. It does have the issue where it is all comedic actors basically in it, but it is played very straight. It almost could have like an Evil Dead Army of Darkness type vibe, but it doesn't. Because like a lot of this sort of like elves and things are toys that come alive or gingerbread men that are animated and attack you. So that sort of lends itself more to horror comedy, but it doesn't ever go that way. So it stays straight horror. And the sound design is really creepy. Some of the character designs are pretty creepy as well, and the sort of jump scares. But it sort of almost seems like the tone is a little bit off. But it's still quite a good film. If you're after a bit of a horror film or a little bit of a seasonal film that's a bit different to normal, then I recommend this.
It's Christmas Eve in L.A., California.
Is Daddy coming home soon? Well, we'll see what Santa and Mommy can do, okay?
A New York cop, John McClane, has come to see his wife.
I missed you.
Instead, he's going to have to save her.
Sit down.
For many, Die Hard is considered the ultimate Christmas movie, and I can see why. It's a great action film starring Bruce Willis about the sort of one New York cop has to take down a tower of terrorists and save the hostages, including his wife. It is a great action film. I guess you could say like the more recent examples is like something like Olympus Has Fallen, where that draws very much on Die Hard, and it obviously does take place on Christmas Eve, so that ties into Christmas theme. Now, most people have already seen Die Hard. It is a classic with a bunch of sequels, some of them better than others. It is definitely worth watching. The action holds up. The one-liners from, the classic yippee-yay motherfucker to something like, I hope that's not a hostage, are great. Alan Rickman is a fantastic villain, to no one's surprise, and Bruce Willis is, surprisingly effective as the sort of lone cop. It definitely holds up. It's definitely worth watching again, or for the first time. Yeah, Merry Christmas.